Coming up on The Cut, we cover the expansion of eligibility for the COVID-19 vaccine in several states.
We also talk about why Sharon Osbourne is set to leave the TV show The Talk and more. Stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome to The Cut. I'm Jessica Herrera.
And I'm Tabitha Bland. Thank you for joining us.
We're very happy to be back for another episode. We have great stories to cover, so let's get started. For our first story of the evening, Cut reporter Madison Morales gives us an update on the eligibility of the COVID-19 vaccine all over the United States.
All 50 states are expanding on the eligibility for the COVID vaccine, or are planning on expanding in the near future. The vaccine eligibility is now at 16 years or older, but only for the Pfizer vaccine. The Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine eligibility is currently limited to people 18 years or older. Arkansas was the latest state to announce their expansion of vaccine eligibility. States such as California, Maine, and Maryland plan to expand the eligibility late in April. The states that are expanding eligibility at a later date are doing so due to limited supply. While the eligibility expansion is exciting news for some, for others it's concerning because they worry there won't be enough vaccines to be provided for everyone, but state and health officials are doing their best to ensure that everyone will have the opportunity to get the vaccine. For The Cut, I'm Madison Page.
Our next story of the night, the trial of former police officer charged with the murder of George Floyd started this week. Daniel Ogas with The Cut gives us a rundown of what happened.
The trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin began this week. Chauvin, a white police officer, is charged with murdering George Floyd, a Black Minneapolis resident, last May. Floyd's death sparked a worldwide movement against police brutality and systemic racism. Floyd died in police custody on May 25, 2020, after Chauvin pinned his knee against Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes. This happened after Floyd attempted to use a false bill inside a Cup's food store. It is unclear if Floyd knew whether or not the bill was false. The former officer is charged with second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder. Witnesses took the stand this week to testify about the events on May 25th that led to the death of George Floyd. Among those witnesses was a Minneapolis firefighter, Genevieve Hansen, who was off duty but witnessed the events. As Floyd was being loaded into an ambulance unconscious, Hansen placed a 911 call where she said, quote, "I'm on the block of 38th in Chicago, and I literally watched police officers not take a pulse and not do anything to save a man. And I am a first responder myself, and I literally have it on video." Hansen was just one of multiple witnesses who have taken the stand this week. Among those witnesses are a 911 dispatcher, a cashier who worked at the store where the incident took place, a mixed martial arts fighter, and the teenager who recorded the now viral video of Floyd's death. The jury sitting in on this case includes a diverse group of people, which consists of 3 Black men, 1 Black woman, 2 white men, 4 white women, and 2 women who identify themselves as multiracial. Now, this was only the first week of a trial that is expected to last 4 weeks. And if convicted, Chauvin faces up to 4 decades in prison. Reporting for the Cut Network, I'm Daniel Ogas.
Closing out the show, my fellow anchor Pascal Bushaw covered the latest on Sharon Osbourne leaving The Talk after having a controversial discussion with her co-host. Let's turn to Pascal to learn more.
Sharon Osbourne, the last original panelist on The Talk, has announced that she has decided to leave the show. This decision came about after Sharon's behavior during the March 10th episode that included a controversial discussion with co-host Cheryl Underwood. This was sparked by Osbourne defending Piers Morgan for his controversial comments about Duchess Meghan and Prince Harry's tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey. Osbourne was accused of being racist, crossing the line, and being unfair during the discussion. The show was sent to commercial as Osbourne spoke loudly over Underwood, saying, quote, "Don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me," end quote. The following day, Osbourne apologized on Twitter, quote, "To anyone of color that I offended and or to anyone that feels confused or let down by what I said," end quote. In CBS's statement to E! News, they stated, quote, "As part of our review, we concluded that Sharon's behavior towards her co-host during the March 10th episode did not align with our values for a respectful workplace. We also did not find any evidence that CBS executives orchestrated the discussion or blindsided any of the hosts," end quote. CBS later went on to say that they will be held accountable for what happened during the show due to the fact that the co-hosts were not properly prepared by the staff for a sensitive discussion involving race. They also mentioned that the events of the episode were upsetting to everyone involved, including the audience watching at home. Following the incidents, CBS released that they will be coordinating workshops and training about culture awareness, equity, and inclusion for the network. New episodes of The Talk will resume on Monday, April 12th.
Well, it looks like that's it for this week's episode. You can catch us back here in 2 weeks. But for our latest coverage, you can visit the Cut Network on YouTube.
And for a behind-the-scenes look at our content, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at @thecut_network and Twitter at @thecut_ASU.
As always, thank you for watching. Have a great night.